With Jimmy and Melinda here from the Supercharged Tattoo Salon, or what do you call it?
Studio,
Studio,
party, shop, whatever you want to call it, that place.
That place. And we're going to be talking some then about body piercing, which they also do at Supercharged. So stay tuned. This is Joan with the Joan Jerkovich Show. Good.
I gotta run and get something.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you what, there's just so much to talk about with this. I'm fascinated by, we didn't even get into cosmetic tattooing. Do you?
That's a whole realm of.
Is that a specialty
Yeah,
in itself?
that's a whole different, that's like
Basically,
a hair salon.
Yeah.
In order for me to do permanent makeup in this state, I have to go back and do another formal apprenticeship of 1,200 hours to be able to do that. Whereas comparison to a hairstylist and cosmetologist, they can actually go through and I believe do like 400, 3 years. I don't even think it's that much.
No,
I want to say it's actually.
When I called it was the same.
Was it?
Because I'm a licensed makeup artist. So I thought I could do the application and he could do the actual tattoo, and we were going to kind of do it together. But when I talked to the state, they actually said it doesn't matter what you have or what you've done, you have to start that from the beginning.
At the very begining.
And it's called a permanent cosmetic technician.
Yeah, because it says permanent makeup, and it's interesting. People use it for eyeliner, some eyebrows, lip color.
His mom
My
actually
mom has her eyebrows, lip liner.
She like it?
And
yeah,
eyeliner done.
She's happy with it?
Yeah.
Right.
The pigment's different. I mean, the pigment, I don't know, it tends to fade a little easier.
Yeah.
It's not such a
harsh line.
I don't know. It's not, the chemical makeup isn't.
Why do they let it, do they want it to fade a little easier, essentially?
That way, if, you
so it
know,
looks
like
more natural.
5 years down the road, it's not
if
still
red
really,
lips are out of style.
And your eyebrows move a little bit.
Yeah. I saw some pictures though, and they're very well done. I mean,
There's
I was shocked by how pretty they looked.
I've got a friend shop in KC that we recommend everybody to go to. Cause,
for permanent eye makeup?
There's a gal that, I'm gonna say in Garden City, that comes up and does it every once in a while, but she does it like out of friends' houses and stuff, and I don't wanna, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't really like that idea either.
No.
But how do they do the eyeliner on the eyelids? I can't imagine.
They use a local.
Okay, they have to use a local.
A lot of time, like for lips, they'll have a dentist come in and shoot you full of novocaine, so it kind of.
So that process versus your shop tends to have more medical backup for anesthesia or pain control.
Eyeliner, they usually use like not novocaine, just a topical gel.
EMLA, yeah.
EMLA, yeah.
The EMLA, the topical dermatologic, you put it on, you put saran wrap over it or whatever till it kind of
the only bad part about that though is
few levels of
it actually
skin.
Swells the skin almost.
Oh.
Because I've had clients try to do that. Like, oh, I can't handle pain. Well, they don't get a tattoo.
Okay.
But they've actually came in and the skin actually becomes, like it almost holds more water.
Oh, I can see
really
that.
Bloated, and it makes it way worse a tattoo.
So if you notice that and someone's done it, you have to send them home and say.
No, I don't have to.
Well,
I won't
or
do
if
it,
they're okay.
Bottom line, because it's not going to end up in the best result for the tattoo. You know, if you
because when the swelling of the skin comes down, the design is going to change, and you don't know what direction they're going to fall, and it'll look almost like an overly pixelated picture or something, you know, or something maybe.
And the tool that they use for the makeup is different. I was shocked because it looks more like this pin,
well,
like a pen.
Some people use the rotaries like that.
Yeah, it's daintier.
Well, we're going to get started, and we've only got 7 minutes left, or 8 minutes, right? 8 in our next segment. But I'm going to maybe ask you just a couple more questions about tattoos. There's so much interesting here to talk about. So let me get a drink of water, give it a stop. And Srish, you're all good to go?
Not quite yet. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I have this, you know, the pain control was interesting to me, and these were just my questions, you know. Has anybody ever just gotten to where I can't do this and they walk out?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
How often does that happen?
Very rare.
Oh really?
Yeah, it doesn't
very
happen
rare.
too often.
I would think it would happen more often than not.
Most people fight through it, and you know, once you get going, it tends to get a little easier.
I think your endorphins kick in,
and you kind of mellow out after about 10-15 minutes of it.
Right. So you've had a baby.
No.
You have not had a baby.
No
how
baby.
Do we, how can we equate this? How do we know what the
Every-
level of pain goes? You know, you get that question all the time.
It's
People
not
come in and
painful.
say,
It's more irritating.
It's
than
irritating.
painful.
It's like
"Oh,
a.
come on."
It's like
I don't
more
believe that.
irritating.
I would compare it more to like scratching.
Like a major irritation.
It's like
like
hurry up,
scratching,
get done over
and then
with.
right when
Yeah,
you think you
yeah.
can't handle it, he lifts up to get more ink into the machine, and then it's back to the irritating
Okay.
scratching, and it's
Scratching, like scratching your skin.
yeah, like intense
Right.
A lot of
scratching.
people compare it like to a sunburn and having a cat scratch it.
It's like a scratch.
Yeah. It's
A
just-
cat
it's-
scratched the sunburned skin.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
that yeah.
irritating. It's not really
Mhm.
super painful. I mean, there's definitely areas of the body that get real painful, but you know, for the most part, everybody can handle it pretty well.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get started again, and I might have us talk about some of what we just said, because I think it's
Okay.
interesting, and not everybody goes on the video to actually watch, but we do encourage that. We're back, and this is Joan with the Joan Jerkovich Show. We've got our two guests here, Jimmy and Melinda from the Supercharged Tattoo Salon, Shop, Garage, whatever we're going to call it here. We've been having a lot of interesting discussion about tattooing, and before we get into body piercing, which is a service they also offer there, I wanted to ask a couple more questions. And you do need to go to joanjerkovich.com to watch the video outtakes, because we've been having a lot of discussion about what they do, and you'll want to watch that on joanjerkovich.com. But we're talking about pain control, and I said, how often does it happen that someone just says, I can't do this, I can't take the pain, and walks out half done?
It doesn't happen very often at all.
Yeah, which kind of surprises me, because we were talking too about when you talk about pain control, if they're trying to use EMLA, the topical anesthetic, it swells the skin and the tattoo won't turn out quite as well as it should. Obviously, we've talked earlier in the segment about drinking, and so it's just kind of come in and grit your teeth.
Exactly. It's that old time proven and tested kind of deal. It's just wear your big boy panties in, sit down and get it done. You know, it's kind of a rite of passage kind of thing too for a lot of people.
Right, right. Now, does the needle itself actually, the tattoo needle, it's like a needle, is that what the device, how far down does it actually?
It barely penetrates
Pierce.
the skin.
Okay.
As far as measuring goes, honestly, it depends on the skin tissue itself. Typically, you're aiming for 3 and 4 layers deep through the skin.
Oh,
And so
okay.
you're just getting past just the dermis layers, basically. You know, the top few layers of skin are transparent, so you want to get underneath that good skin where it's going to hold in there, but not be too light where it's just going to fall back out, basically.
Because your skin's always shedding,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you've got to get the color embedded enough that it's going to stick around. And I heard some things like, what about sun or sunscreen or things like that on
Definitely,
tattoos?
I recommend it. I'm not a big follower of the rules myself.
I don't do it.
Yeah.
So
Does it change the color then?
Yeah, it'll
if
definitely-
you get a suntan over
It'll
your
fade
tattoo?
out over the
Oh, it
course of the
fades
years.
out.
It lightens the color out.
Right, right. Because we had a lot of talk, we were sort of talking about, ways to, kind of aftercare with, you talk about keep it moist and those kinds of things.
Mhm.
So let's get into body piercing, and that's kind of an interesting thing historically too, because on Wikipedia, they had mummies that had piercings and earrings. And of course, we all, know ear piercing is probably obviously the most common. What would you say the second most common piercing is?
Noses and
Nose.
navels.
Noses and navels.
Mhm.
So you see quite a few of those coming into the shop?
Girls can't get enough of it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, did you happen to see, because I was looking where the Aerosmith Crying music video with Alicia Silverstone, did you remember seeing that? Where
Yep.
she had the piercing done on the video?
Mhm.
And that was in '93, so you were working at that time in a shop at least. You're not the piercing artist, but you're,
Not in
Did you
'93.
see-
I wasn't.
did you-
I wasn't working.
you
I
weren't.
was tattooing then. No.
because
Started
they
tattooing
said
in
that a
98.
lot of people really pumped up after that. And then the other one that I didn't really realize, talking about how this kind of all, goes back from ancient times into today, how the piercings, again, they've been around for so long. The lip and tongue piercings were found in the African and American tribal cultures. Nipple and genital piercings practiced by various cultures dating back to ancient Rome and ancient India. How they
Ouch.
found that out. It's like, how do you know?
Yeah, really.
And then some of this reading is like, well, okay, how do they really know that? They see the little ring sitting in there. They assume they were buried in it, but the tissues are gone. So
Yeah.
they're sort of making some assumptions. But that's what they're saying about some of that. And body piercing, it said, got more mainstream in our culture in the 90s. And I really didn't honestly remember this, but Janet Jackson with the Super Bowl incident apparently prompted the piercings. Because I remember the wardrobe malfunction, but I didn't realize she had a piercing. So you guys were aware of that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So tell me some more about your piercing artist, or do you call them artists, or?
We call him Dave.
I was going to say, I could probably come up with another name besides artist. Torturer.
Dave comes up once a week from Wichita.
Yeah.
He owns a studio down there.
Yeah.
Real good guy. He's been piercing in Kansas for 16, 15 years now, something like that.
Now he's also licensed, I assume?
Yeah, you
through
have to
the
be licensed.
cosmetology board again?
Yes, you have to be licensed in the state to work in a studio itself.
Do you guys have to carry like malpractice insurance?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to, I mean we choose to.
Yeah.
But
it happens. You get sued for whatever. Right. And then what's the most common areas that you'd say are pierced? You said the belly button and the nose.
Nose, yeah.
How about the tongue?
Tongues are kind of dying out. They've been around real heavy and mainstream since the mid 90s probably, and it's kind of mellowed out. But he still does quite a few of those a week. He
does, and I heard that they can break your teeth, right?
Yeah, from the metal clicking around in your mouth, and it'll tend to chip tooth here and there.
Mm-hmm. And then how about the things in your ears? And you have those. You call them plugs?
Plugs, yeah.
Plugs.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get started with those? Do you start like I have this little earring?
Just like
that?
Little
by little.
And you just keep putting a larger post in, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
How long does that take? Because yours is at least half inch,
I'm at 5/8, almost a 3/4.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to jump up to 3/4, but
okay.
It just, you actually got a little taper, which is basically a dull needle. Doesn't have like a needle tip on it, and it actually, as it comes down the bar, or the bar itself, it actually bellows out a little bit, and so it goes up to the next gauge. And it usually takes, I recommend, no more than in between, like, from a 4 gauge to a 2 gauge, to wait at least like 2 months in between your sizes. It really depends too on how well your skin actually heals and stretches with it. I've seen people jump and they end up with micro tears because they jumped way too many sizes at one time.
Oh, I see.
So they end up tearing the inside of their earlobe, and then it looks like a cat's butthole when it's blown out. And you take them back out.
Yeah, how do you fix that? You probably have to go to a plastic surgeon to fix that. Because then, like you said, if you jump up in gauge too fast, the skin still needs time to heal. Because I was surprised to hear that even a belly piercing, a navel piercing, can take years.
Generally 6 months to a year. There's a lot of meat there.
Yeah, and then they said a lot of rubbing, maybe with the clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't get as well of a heal because your belly's rubbing on everything all day through the day. In comparison with your nose, where it's just out there in the open, you're not going to have a lot of things hitting it. Right.
Well, obviously, we're always running out of time because there's so much more to talk about. I don't know if you were aware, though, that there is in the Guinness Book of World Records an Elaine Davidson of Scotland, the most pierced woman. Can you guess how many piercings she has? Have you heard of her?
I've seen her, but I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
She's something else.
She's disgusting.
It's scary, and I'm going to try to put this picture up on my blog before your show comes up so people kind of see it, because she's actually very colorful looking.
Might scare some people
off.
Yeah,
4,225 officially Guinness certified piercings.
Ugh.
That was in 2006, but in 2009 she apparently came in with even 6,000. So,
wow.
Thanks so much to both of you, for coming to talk to us, and I'm sure we'd like to have you back, especially with some new developments. This is Joan with the Joan Jerkovich Show. That felt too fast, guys. There was too much to say.
I wish you had a crap ton, but that's a lot.
I mean, 6,000, and here, 462. In 2,462, 192 alone on her head and face.
Yeah, her whole eyebrow.
Yeah, everything.
She's scary looking.
And she doesn't, I don't know if she's Caucasian, from Scotland or what, but she looks like, some tribal woman, obviously.
Yeah, she doesn't, I don't know what she is.
But that made me think when I looked at that, is there ever a point where people go so overboard you wonder about their mental health?
Yeah.
Actually, I tattooed a gal.
Surface implants, if you want to talk about.
Oh yeah,